So today's topic, as you know, is HealthTree University. Learn more about myeloma for free. And many of you are familiar with HealthTree University, but I wanted to do an even deeper dive into this amazing program that we have. It's one of our most popular, and people love it because anywhere from newly diagnosed to very advanced myeloma patients and caregivers and loved ones can watch myeloma and can watch HealthTree University and get a better understanding of myeloma. Not only that, but we've never done a behind the scenes before. So I wanted to take you behind the scenes so that you could see what our video production team does and how hard they work so that you can have this free, awesome educational content. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Joining us is Cindy Schmaleski. She's a professional educator and a myeloma advocate. And as a former teacher, she now teaches myeloma patients and their loved ones how to advocate for themselves as the director of HealthTree University. We also have Clark Ahlstrom here today. He's the video team manager for HealthTree University and oversees video production of the new HealthTree University videos. He started working at the foundation together with Jenny Ahlstrom, his mother, who is the founder of our organization, after her myeloma diagnosis. Clark and Cindy, thank you for being here today. Without further ado, I'll turn the time over to you, Clark.
Sounds great. Yeah, thank you, Aji, for that introduction. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and we'll get into it. Okay. So, thank you everyone for joining. I'm gonna be talking about HealthTree University and give you guys a little more insight into behind the scenes of what we do here and what actually goes on. I thought that would be pretty interesting for you guys. So, get started. So I'm Clark, as Audrey said, I'm the video production manager. Started a couple of years ago, or probably like three or 4 years ago, and have since become the video manager. And it's a really fun job. Our team is broken up into two different segments. We have our myeloma HealthTree University, and we have our AML HealthTree University. Our team consists primarily of college students. They're all awesome. Ashlyn, Sam, Jaden. We have Jen, who is not a college student, but she helps us a ton with making some comments. And then Leo, Izzy, and Katie on our AML team. So behind the scenes, when we take a video, how we start this process, Cindy plans the curriculum, and she's going to go into that later. But in the actual filming, we will either go to conferences or we will go on a filming tour to specific facilities. We'll schedule these interviews with doctors, we'll set up the camera equipment, hit record, and then the doctors do their work. And yeah, as you've most likely already seen. Now, what you haven't seen is the editing side. So here's our office. Forgive the mess on their desks. They had lunch that day. But they have the edit on Macs. We use a program called Premiere, and we will edit the videos, add them into beta, which is, you might have seen that before on HealthTree University. But beta, if you ever see that, just means that these videos don't have graphics on them. So we try to record the interviews and get the content out as fast as possible so that you have access to the newest and latest stuff. But we do want to put graphics on later in order to better help and simplify, break down these complex topics. But if you are ever curious to know like where this newest footage is, it's in the beta. And that is on HealthTree University. We don't release that kind of stuff onto YouTube. Taking a look at our editing software, how we make these animations, this can be kind of overwhelming. It's a very complicated program called Premiere Pro. So don't get too overwhelmed, but this is just like a little fun insight as to what we use to edit all of our animations and put text on and add different doctors. We have different layers of video, audio, and graphics. Once these videos are done and exported, they get added to our courses on HealthTree University. And yeah, they get added into different lessons, and then you can find them there. I was also going to do a site walkthrough just so that you can become more familiar if you aren't already with HealthTree University and everything that we offer on it. So I'm going to click on here and we are going to walk through together. I think it's worth noting that there are different diseases we treat. Yes, we do myeloma and acute myeloid leukemia primarily. However, if you click on find your disease, should you know anybody that has one of these diseases, you can tell them that we have more resources available for AML, CLL. We're working on kidney disease, but myeloma and MDS. MDS and CLL, we have not as much stuff, but we're still building. So we're going to go with myeloma today. And then up here, we have our apps and programs. Under learn from experts, go to university. And then we just get started. This is where all of the learning happens. Really basic. Cindy does a lovely job of breaking these things down and organizing them well. Here we have our courses page, which is just the main page where all the information is at. It breaks down different units. Once you watch a video and you click on it, it'll play up its little animation. You get to see the doctors. If my computer will load, you'll see the little faculty screen, but it looks like the internet's kind of being slow. And then we have quizzes. So these quizzes, I've already done this just to test, but you can watch the video and then answer based off of what the quiz has. So multiple myeloma is a cancer of the plasma cells. That's already correct, as you see down here. If I were to click the wrong one, then it says incorrect, and it'll either tell you the answer or suggest you watch at a specific timestamp. And then you can click next lecture. We're going to go back to courses. But as you see, it marks off your progress. And this only happens if you sign in. So you can sign in up here, and that way you can keep track of notes, watch history, and bookmark a lesson. Talking about bookmarking lessons, here we can see all of the lessons that we bookmark. What does bookmarking mean? It just means that you like a video, you want to save it for later. So if I want to know what the different types of myeloma are, and I want to watch that later, I bookmark it, go to bookmark lessons, and then it shows up right here, and I can watch that video again. Another awesome tool, I guess it's not as popular, but it also autoplays, so forgive that. Another great tool is that you can actually create notes on videos. So let's say you're on a video. Here at the bottom right corner, you can type here and say, this is my note. It auto-saves, so you don't have to worry about saving it. And then you can go to your notebook on the left-hand side, and you will see, this is my note. So I've done this multiple times, as you see. And then you can also print out these notes as a PDF should you so choose. And you'll download the PDF. Other things I would like to mention and bring up is our library. While this is still a work in progress and doesn't have a lot on it, here I think it's useful to know that these are a bunch of acronyms that are used in myeloma, and some other guides that we will be working on in the future. Faculty page. Here is our faculty. Here you can see all the doctors that have helped us and been so generous with their time in making HealthTree University possible. You can view their profiles, which connects to their accounts. So there's that. Should you be curious as to where somebody works, keep in mind that they don't have it for everyone, but we try to do it for the myeloma specialists. Courses. Back here, this is the last thing I will go over before I hand it off to Cindy. is we have the ability to search for content and certain topics. So if I, for example, am only interested in learning about CAR T today, then what I can do is I can type in the search bar under all courses selected, CAR T. And maybe I just search CAR T. Now everything related to CAR T will come up. So whether that is the unit CAR T will come up, and then you'll be able to see A to Z in that unit, or just certain videos that say CAR T in the title. So you have any questions on that, you can ask us in the Q&A, but you can also filter that as a different filter as well. If you just want to look at basic courses, then you can see that. Or if you just want to look at beta and latest content, then you can also see that. So without further ado, that was a brief but walkthrough of what HealthTree University is all about. And now you're going to hear from Cindy, who is the expert and organizer of all of this awesome curriculum.
Thank you, Clark. Well, first of all, we couldn't do it without you and your production team. And also I have to mention the development team. When you're looking at HealthTree University, all those neat features like the notebook and, you know, bookmarked lessons and just the search bar, those were things that when I was working on developing it, I said, we need this, we want this. And it was never, no, Cindy, you can't have it. It was, okay, we're going to figure out how we could do this. So I really have to do a shout out to our development team, because they really work on trying to make HealthTree University the most accessible it can be. And the production team for never saying, no, we can't make animations that look like that, or they try so hard. So I couldn't do it without them. And what my job is, obviously, is not the technical end, because you would not be enjoying the videos if that was my job. I am the curriculum coordinator. And what does that mean? It means I'm in charge of both the scope and the sequence of all the content that you're going to be seeing on HealthTree University. And we try to arrange the content from very basic courses in the beginning to more advanced courses, or courses that may not be more advanced, but more on a specific topic. And how do I come up with the content? Well, I'm very fortunate that I'm able to attend many of the major medical meetings and also the roundtables. And so when I attend these conferences, I'm listening to what the doctors are saying, so I know what is important for patients to understand and know. I also get content from people like you. I sometimes look on Facebook and I see what questions are answered all over and over again, or questions are asked. And I look at HealthTree University, and if we have a video that can answer that question, I share it on that Facebook page or wherever I see it. But if we don't have a video that can help answer a question, then I write it down on videos that we need to make, so that, you know, we can make a video so that we have an answer to a question. And it's really important that the people who are answering these videos are experts in the field. They're the myeloma specialist, or if it's something on nutrition, they may be a nutritionist, or if it's a social worker. So we ask the person who will be best at answering that question and giving you the best information possible. So right now, our curriculum is, there's so many things going on. I kind of like thinking that when I'm looking at the curriculum and working on it, I'm dividing it in different ways. Currently, we have units that are under review. That means that they're already published, they're on HealthTree University, but they may be a year or two old. And in the field of myeloma, we know that a year or two makes a whole lot of difference. So we're currently reviewing those units and updating them so that you are getting the most up-to-date information. And that was something that we learned in the very beginning, because on our very first videos, we really didn't put the timestamp as when the video was being recorded. And we soon learned it was really necessary for the viewers to know when that information was being recorded, to know how recent and how accurate it may be. So currently we have 4 units that we are reviewing and trying to get up to date. And we're working on the starting treatment unit because there's a whole lot of new information. And soon as we get the information, we're going to put it in a beta stage because it may take a while to get all the graphics and the final production of the video done. But since that information is so important, we will add the starting treatment to beta once it's ready to get there. We may add maybe 10 lessons at a time because there's going to be a lot of lessons in starting treatment. After starting treatment, the relapse refractory myeloma videos, once again, we're currently in the process of recording new content for them because that has changed. Currently, Ashlyn's working on the MRD videos because, as you know, MRD is a hot topic. It's a constantly moving topic, and same way with precursor conditions. So those are 4 areas that we're working on. We know that we need to update the information, maybe add some more information to it. We also are working on new units. And new units to me are the units that are already in beta. So you can watch them, you can see what's there, but they're not in their final stage. They, as Clark said, they don't have those nice animations. They don't have graphics. There might be some bloops in it. There might be some things that we might need to cut out from the doctor. We might rearrange them in a different way so that you're not just hearing one doctor, next doctor, next doctor. You might be hearing the question answered by 3 doctors, then the next question. So our new videos are videos that are already in beta, but need to be finalized. We also have a number of videos or a part of our curriculum that's currently under development. And under development means that we're just writing the questions for this part and just starting to record the necessary video so that we can start producing the lessons. And some of the classes that we currently have under development are how we can bridge the gaps in myeloma disparities. We have the curriculum written, we have some of the courses recorded, we're still working on it. Another one is on health equity that we now just have the curriculum written. We now need to find some experts in health equity to really answer those questions so we get the best content to you. And another area that we're working on is nutrition on a budget, because we keep on hearing that it's so important to have nutritious meals, but people are thinking it's very expensive. So we're trying to, once again, we're working on the curriculum. It's not quite done yet, but we're working on what questions we want to ask. And now we have to find the experts to answer those questions. And the last area of curriculum that we work on are something that we're calling orphan videos. And what's an orphan video? Well, an orphan video is one of those videos that I record because I heard, a lesson or a question on Facebook that said, oh, we have an answer to that question, but we should answer that question and include it in myeloma basics, or we should answer that question and include it in our stem cell transplant unit. So orphan videos are those videos that are one-off videos, or they may be a video that as I look through something, I noticed I made a mistake and I forgot to ask a question that was a very important question. So I'll ask that question at the next round table, and then we will put it in the orphan video column and get that answered and added to the curriculum. So as you could see, it's not an easy process. It's not something, I call it a living curriculum because it's never going to end, because we're always going to be adding, we're always going to be reviewing, we're always going to maybe even take some things out if they no longer are pertinent. So it's something that we're going to constantly be working on. And I guess that's about it. And Oh, and another one that I just started working on yesterday that I know that we're going to be putting under review is our autologous stem cell transplant unit, because right now there's a lot of videos there, but they're kind of a mess. They're all pushed around. Like when we got those orphan questions, we asked the questions, but we just kept on adding it to the end of the lesson. So they're really not in a logical order. And being a teacher and working in curriculum my entire life, I know it's so important to have things in a sequence to make it more understandable for people. So those are things I have. And now it's, I guess, time for any questions. I guess we're a little ahead of schedule, but I guess that's okay.
Yes, it is okay. I think the majority of people prefer to be ahead of schedule than behind. So thank you, Clark, and thank you, Cindy. And thank you just for the work you're doing. We know so many users love HealthTree University, not only use it, but love it. And that wouldn't be possible without the sacrifices and the time of the two of you. So thank you so much. I have a couple questions, but I do want the audience to know if you want to enter your questions into the Q&A. And something special that you could enter even right now are different suggestions. So lots of the features that you saw today in HealthTree University are a product because of patient suggestions, either about topics or about features. Those came to be because people like you suggested different things in similar webinars to this one. So we want you to know that your opinion is valid. We want to hear your experiences and what we can do better and other features that you might be interested in or other topics that you want to learn more about. And if you're curious about whether or not a certain topic exists on HealthTree University, that's something that you can ask as well. One of the questions that I wanted to start with, I often hear that patients and caregivers alike are kind of fatigued when people keep asking them, what's multiple myeloma? What's multiple myeloma? Can anybody join HealthTree University, like just friends, families, neighbors, or do they have to be a patient or a caregiver? And Cindy, that's a question for you.
Oh, anyone can join. It's free, it's open. That's one of the things that, in the very beginning when we were thinking about HealthTree University, we wanted to make sure it was accessible to everyone. Education should be not locked behind a paywall. You shouldn't have to join something, it's free to anyone. So it could be patients, caregivers, family members, your community oncologists, anyone who would like to watch those videos can watch those videos.
Thank you. Clark, is there a link or something that they could share with their loved ones? What is the link that they would share if they're like, you know what, here's someone that could explain it even better than I could?
Yeah, I mean, so there's two ways you could do it. You could either find the video on HealthTree University and you could share that link just up top at the URL, or there is, I think sharing my screen might be a little easier to.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, y'all see that?
Mhm.
So you can just share this URL up top, copy that, and then you send it to someone, and it's free, so anybody will be able to get in and they'll see that page. Or you can share the specific YouTube link and copy this link and then share that as well. Something that I also thought of that I thought is worth mentioning is with closed captioning. We're working on this transcript right now in the newest version of HealthTree University, so it'll get revamped. But right now, the best way to see subtitles or the transcript of a video is with auto-generated closed captions or subtitles. And how to do that is to just click on here, and then it turns on, and then you'll be able to see these captions pop up. Now, let's say you speak Spanish better or another language better. Over here in settings, if you go to the subtitles, English, auto-generated, then you can click auto-translate and pick whatever language that you speak. So we could do Spanish, Now it's auto-generating in Spanish, and the patient team has been translating a lot of things in Spanish already, so they should be pretty accurate. And you'll be able to see these. So that's just for you guys. Yes, we will be working on the transcript, but for now, closed captions works great.
Awesome. Thank you, Clark. I appreciate it. Victoria had a good question of, I'm not clear what a beta stage is. So Clark, if you just maybe want to keep your screen up and show them an example. You explained it before that beta is a video in development. So Victoria, Cindy, if you want to explain one more time what a beta video is, and then Clark, if you want to show them an example of a beta unit.
Yeah, I think beta is a techie term. I'm not a techie person, but I'm learning that it's just a term that people use, that something is being tested or it's something before it's fully developed. So this video, which is beta, means that all the fun features like pictures and graphics and animations and words and all that kind of stuff are not in it. It's just the raw recording of the doctor without me in it. Because I'm usually the one that asks the doctors the questions. I get cut out of the video. Slides get put up asking the questions, and a nice deep man voice asks the questions, not my voice, and the doctors then answer the questions, but none of that other fancy stuff is in it. And later on down the way, we may rearrange the video so it's better sequentially. We may cut stuff out that really, if the doctor goes on a tangent and talks all this technical stuff that's really not important, we may cut that out later. So it's just that first version of the video, not the finished product.
Thank you. Clark, anything to add there?
No, I think Cindy hit the nail on the head. It basically just doesn't have graphics. And then we typically don't have quiz questions. However, this one does.
Yeah. Are there whole units that are beta?
Yes. Yes, there are. So if you see beta off here to the left, right here, then that means that the whole unit is in beta.
So they have the information. They just might need to have a longer attention span since there won't be graphics keeping them interested.
And
Right.
also units that are in beta, like the complementary integrated therapy unit, may not be all complete. Like there might be questions missing. It may be, we're putting up there the doctors that we ask the questions to, but there may be gaps, especially when you're talking about something so specific as to lifestyle medicine. I just can't ask any doctor about lifestyle medicine. I need to ask a doctor who has an interest in that to answer the question. So beta may not only mean that it's not a completed video with the animations and graphics, it may be that the entire unit is still being under development and more questions will be added at a later date.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. That's super clear. Thank you. Cindy, this question's for you. Do you ever store or put as the curriculum recent HealthTree webinars, like the ones that I host in the community program or myeloma roundtables, as part of the HealthTree University curriculum?
We do. Actually, we do that. We try to do it on a monthly basis. Sometimes we get a little bit behind, but those webinars, Clark and I will go through them and decide which unit they would be best in, and then we list them as guest lectures. So they're just exported, I guess, is that the word? Clark, is that the correct word? They're exported just the way they are and listed as a guest lecture.
Awesome. Cool. I feel special now.
So there's some of your some of your webinars when they're being recorded. some roundtable events, anything that we find that would be helpful in a particular unit, but it's just not going to be a lesson.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the question is, Cindy, this is for you, maybe a combination of the two since you guys work together, but when will the starting treatment videos be ready for viewing?
Well, I think we have all the footage, or if we don't have all the footage this weekend, we'll get the rest of the footage, and then we'll put them in. We'll then put them in beta, and once they're in beta, we'll put them there. I would say within the next month. Clark, how long do you think it will take to get them from where they are now to beta?
Assuming they're in column 1 on Trello, is that true?
That's where they are.
Okay. Then probably a month. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, because we wait until we got, and the one thing is, column 1 is, when we say column 1 on Trello, that means we already shot some footage answering that question, but we want more. For example, if I ask 5 doctors, what is the optimal induction therapy and why, we may get 6 different answers. So we don't just, like, we always want to have at least 2 doctors answering a question because they may explain things differently. And if there is a right and the wrong answer, is like, what is myeloma? Yes, there's only one correct answer to what myeloma is, but it might be explained differently. But asking the question, do I need a stem cell transplant as part of my induction therapy? Depending on which doctor you ask, you're going to get a different answer. And we try to present an array of answers so that you can listen to each of the doctors speaking and then decide, what do you think is best for you? Because you're going to learn real quick that there is never any one. There's a lot of times never one right answer. There's always different opinions on things. So that's the hard thing. So once we get, that's what column 1 is. It's like, we're waiting to ask a couple other doctors that same question. So then we could get it ready for beta.
Awesome. You said this weekend you're going to get more answers. What's this weekend?
This weekend, we have a roundtable event in Austin, Texas. So if any of you are in the Austin area, we have some great myeloma docs speaking. And the one thing, when they're there, we never give them downtime. When the doctors are there, they're either presenting or they're answering questions for HealthTree University, or they're intermingling with the patients who are there and answering those questions. It's not like, okay, you're going to present for 45 minutes and the rest of the time is yours. Nope, we got you going.
Yeah, very true. I had forgotten about the roundtable. The local amusement park opens this weekend, so that's what I've been focused on. We got season passes this year. I'm pretty excited.
I'm focused in on the barbecue we're going to have Friday night before the roundtable, because I hear Austin is famous for their barbecue.
Oh, good.
Any recommendations online? I will be taking them.
Sam asks an excellent question. It's a little bit deeper. So before we get to that, I just have had some personal questions emailed to me about the points store in HealthTree University. What are the points for, if anything?
Well, it's still, the point store is still under development. Eventually, we're hoping that these points will be able to be cashed in, per se. For trinkets, maybe like hats and water bottles, but we're thinking more, we want things that are related to education. So maybe we're thinking travel to a round table, or having a question answered at one of the round tables, your own specific question by a myeloma expert that we record the video and send it to you. Or we're still in the process of figuring it out. Clark, is there anything else? We actually have a store committee that is just, it's just trying to put all the logistics in. So it's not something that costs a lot of money because we want our funding for curriculum development, not giving away sweatshirts, especially when sweatshirts aren't helping you understand your myeloma and making your, Mark.
Yeah, something I'd like to add to that is just so we did a survey on how, and like a walkthrough, or like one of our employees did a survey of a walkthrough of the HealthTree University setup, and not many patients really cared about the point store. So while we won't be focusing a whole lot of time on it, it is still there. And the way to earn points is to watch videos and answer quiz questions. So if I watch a video and then answer a quiz question, right now the points are
Are
at
you
6.
trying to share your screen? You're not sharing your screen.
Oh, I should probably share my screen for
I
that.
just wanted to let you know.
Yeah. So if I so I watch a video, now I have the quiz questions. If I say plasma cell leukemia is, and then we'll just pick a random one. Oh, I didn't want it to be right. Okay. If it's wrong, the points won't show up. If it's right, you give it some time, and then the points will show up. So we can go back. Or maybe it's you have to do all of them. We'll just click through it real quick. So as you see, the points are now racking up the more questions we have. So it's kind of an incentive to better learn. The more quiz questions you answer, the more points you get. However, it's not necessarily required. So, yeah.
And the quiz questions are only available, and the points are only available if you watch the videos inside HealthTree University. If you're watching it signed into your account, like the CureHub account, because otherwise we wouldn't know where to give the points to. So if you watch the video on YouTube, there's not going to be quiz questions to even answer. If you watch it on HealthTree University, but you're not signed into your account, they're not going to be able to put those points to a specific person. So the only way you can accumulate points is with your account. And some year we will have a store for you to get those points in. And we're also thinking of other ways to accumulate points, maybe by participating in research. We do a lot of the research at the bottom. And if you're taking time to answer like a 30-minute survey for research, you might get some points. So we're still toying with the idea, but like everything else, it's in development. But that's what it is.
Yeah, no, I think you're explaining it very clearly. No problem. So to be clear, if your neighbor wants to know more about HealthTree University, they could watch it, but they wouldn't be able to like take notes or bookmark lessons or get points for their videos unless they were signed into a HealthTree related account.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and they can't create an account unless they have myeloma. I mean, because a lot of the stuff is related here. So they could gain the information, but all the little perks that are available are only for account holders.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so Sam asks the question, what about integrating a flow chart for decision making in the case of relapse, for example? Now, I've been sitting on this question since he asked it because my brain was like turning about, we're going to make these interactive guides with different HealthTree University lessons. So one of the goals of the foundation is to help answer the questions you have before you have them and help make these decision-making things, your decision-making easier. And one of the ways we want to do that is through, I'll call them interactive PDFs. It's still very much in the brainstorm side of things, but we want to create all of our resources kind of in one guide that can help you with specific questions like, what should I do at relapse? And there's a Know Your Therapy unit, right, Clark and Cindy, that goes over, pretty much every single therapy that you could imagine receiving. And it would be interesting just to see, like, one of the options at relapse is this one. Here's some videos about that combination, and here's what people reported as side effects, and here's a webinar we had on it, and here's a couple articles that were written on it, and do that for like different combinations. It's a good idea to think about as we're thinking how best to help patients. Any
Yeah,
other
a flowchart for decision making is a great idea. I mean, we've asked doctors what things influence treatment choice. It's not only the efficacy, it may be the mode of administration, it may be the side effects, it may be what you were relapsed or refractory to in the past. It may, like, if you have severe neuropathy, you might not want to take a drug that has neuropathy. If you have a cardiac condition, it might be things individual to you. There's a host of things that influence decision making. So, I mean, I don't know if it could be a flow chart like this, because I think at the very end, you need to list all the things down and weigh the risk and benefits of each of the choices, because I don't think there's going to be like, oh, like for me with a flow chart is okay, this, and if this is this decision, you do that. And then if that's the decision, you do that. At the end, you get with one answer. And I don't think there's going to be any one answer. I think there's always going to be, okay, here are all your choices. Here are the, here are the risks and here are the benefits, and maybe some kind of chart that could help you decide what risk and benefits you are willing to take for each of them, if that kind of makes sense.
Totally agree. And like have it all in the same place, right? So you're not looking over here for something and over here for something, but rather just, as you were saying, here's all the information, now make an informed decision.
So it might be, and this is a good idea, this is how we get ideas. It might be something that will be in our resource library, like a flow chart for decision making, where you can download that flow chart or print it out, and then you could watch the videos in the Know Your Therapy unit and start filling out that flow chart, so that you have a place where then you can go into your doctor and make a shared decision. Now, I remember doing something that years ago with the community cancer support community, where they had something similar to that, so it may be a resource that we include in our library that's downloadable as opposed to a video, on.
Yeah. All right, I'm making notes that I'll share with you, and that's exciting. We love ideas like that, so keep them coming.
And we may not need to make it. I'm sure there is a decision-making flowchart out there somewhere, that we may adapt towards our needs, make it more myeloma specific.
Yeah, very true. And Steve says, I prefer a topic concerning multiple myeloma rather than your myeloma website. But that's just me. Others need to know what's available. Yeah. So I guess what he's saying is, rather than watch the classes himself, he'd rather hear an interview with the doctor, either as a podcast or a roundtable or a community events. And that's fine. I mean, that's why we provide so much information for you. So many programs, is because not one size fits all. And we want you to have access to anything that might help you the way that you like to learn. So
yeah, exactly. I know one of our other employees, he's more like you. He likes, listening to all things around one topic, as opposed to like listening to specific things. So and being a teacher, I know there's different ways of learning and people learn differently. So we try to provide multisensory ways of people to learn about a particular topic.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this has been a great webinar. Thank you so much. Clark, do you have any final words to say before we leave today?
No, just thanks for having us. Yeah, we're always happy to help. And like at the end of the day, all of HealthTree University, everything that we do is for patients. So if you ever have any advice or something you want to see, please let us know. And yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Cindy, any closing remarks?
Not really. I'm just very thankful. You know, I'm a patient, I'm a teacher, and now I get to combine both of those things together. I think I have the best job in the world. And if there's any topics that you think we should cover that's not there, if there's a video you watch that you think is a little outdated, you know, we will respond. Just let us know, you know.
Totally. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Clark. We really appreciate you. I'm just going to close with a couple of outro announcements for our audience, and then we can finish up for today. Don't forget to take the survey as you're leaving the meeting today. Zoom will prompt you to take the survey. Let us know what you liked about today, what we can do better next time, and future topic suggestions. I read all of your answers. I get questions about that. I really do read them. So please leave us some feedback, as it's extremely valuable for me, my program, my team, my coworkers, and we can continue improving as we serve you. Join us next in 2 months as we meet in this chapter where we highlight different HealthTree Foundation programs. Meets every other month. I can't remember. I think it's bi-monthly, because semi-monthly would be twice a month. Bi-monthly. May 16th, we're going to be learning about the coach program. So if you've heard about the HealthTree coach program, maybe you participate in it. We'd love to share more about it and receive your feedback on it, as always. Other events we are hosting that you might be interested in: on the 22nd is our MGUS smoldering chapter. I guess that's just tomorrow already somehow. So tomorrow is our MGUS smoldering chapter. Dr. Manasonk is going to be joining us to talk about treatments available for high-risk smoldering patients. That same Thursday, March 23rd at 2 p.m. that same week, guys, it's obviously the end of an event. Can you tell? Thursday at 2 p.m. is our Black Myeloma community event. We're going to be talking about spreading the word. African American and other Black myeloma patients are 2 to 3 times more likely to get myeloma, and so therefore the word needs to spread in Black communities. And then on the 28th is our regional Florida chapter, and we're going to be discussing a local Florida clinical trials and how to join them. So the link to sign up for any of those events and many, many more events I did not mention is found at the bottom of the slide. Will be included in our follow-up email. A big thank you to Amgen, Genentech, Janssen, and AbbVie for sponsoring this event. And thank you to each of you for helping us build this myeloma community and for participating in the work that we do. It makes it so worth it. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.